in the first ever NCAA playoff game hosted at Rodman Park Soccer Complex in California. The second-ranked California Vulcans play host to the Rock of Slippery Rock in the second round of the NCAA Division II soccer tournament. Good afternoon and welcome everyone to this production of CUTV Sports. My name is Alex Kunkel. Alongside of me is Allison Steinheiser, and Allison, California comes into this game having a first-round bye in the tournament as the 2 seed. They take on Slippery Rock here today.
Right, they take on Slippery Rock. Slippery Rock beat West Virginia Wesleyan by a score of 3-1 on Friday here at Rodman Park. And because the bracket is actually divided into because the region is divided into 2 different brackets, Cal wound up getting a home game, which is big for them because they have an 8-1-1 record here at Rodman Park.
Yeah, and on the other side of that bracket, you see Westchester taking on Bloomsburg today, and the winner of these 2 games will play with the higher seed having the home field advantage. In California, they've gotten a lot of scoring this season from a lot of younger players, including a couple of freshmen, Tonya Fabian and Bethany Smida, who were 2 of the premier freshmen in the PSAC.
Yeah, Bethany Smida was actually the freshman of the year, and she leads both the team and conference in scoring this year with 16 goals and 10 assists for 42 points, and she was one of 7 players on the All-PSAC selection team from Cal U.
Your starters for California: in goal, Paula Jackson, Elizabeth Johnston, Channing Weimer, Kelsey Fisher, Kayla Franco, Sam Regney, Aaron Phelps, Kayla Klamasco, Kristen Orrit, Bethany Smida, and Karina Honeygoski, the forward. She will be taking the draw in the middle of the pitch.
This is a big game for Cal. Obviously, they have to win to advance. They've done a great job at home this year. Let's see if they can keep it up.
This one cleared down the length of the pitch. This will go out of bounds. Slippery Rock will inbound. It will be number 3, Isabel Scott. That's intercepted by Honeygoski. She'll just kick it out of bounds, and Scott will have it thrown once again. This one to the middle of the field where it is intercepted by California. Slippery Rock takes it back now, and it is Scott passing it ahead to number 8. That is Allison Henley. Henley across to the other side. And midfield will be a big part of this game, Allison.
Yeah, it definitely will be. And Cal has done a great job all season at the midfield, being able to get control of the ball and get onto the attack. So they'll definitely have to keep it up against the Rock.
44-11 remains in this first half of action here. We will have a throw-in on the far side of the field. And I'm still trying to figure out who is, as actually I believe we have an injured player there on the far side of the field. It is a Slippery Rock player. No word on who it is or what happened, as it was off camera. And Slippery Rock comes into this game. They have a 14-game unbeaten streak coming into this game, and they really turned everything on in the second half of play.
They really have, and one of their leaders on the team is sophomore Shelby Ward. She leads them in both goals and points with 10 goals and 21 points. But as you said, they've come in on a 14-game unbeaten streak. And in the last 5 games, they tied Westchester, which was one of the top teams. And in the last 5 games, they've only let in 4 goals. So they're definitely getting stronger as the season's gone on.
As we see, the injured player is getting helped off the field. And it looks like she will be okay after all. We will get set to resume play here at Rodman Park. Slippery Rock will have possession, I believe, to start this, and it will be kicked by number 10, Rachel Knapp. Knapp will move it ahead, where it will be off the foot of a California player and will be taken by the Vulcans. Pass ahead down to the far side of the field, but Slippery Rock is just going to take that and swing it right back into California territory. That is where it will be moved ahead momentarily, but number 12, Aaron Phelps, moves it into Slippery Rock territory, where we will just see a back-and-forth battle between these 2 teams. And be intercepted by 21, Marissa Anderson. And Anderson helps move that along before Sam Regney applies some pressure, and the ball goes out of bounds with 43:25 left in the first half.
So far, we haven't seen any shots in this game, but one stat that is very interesting and it gives Cal a big advantage. They have outshot their opponents on the season 493 to 147. So that's a big reason why Cal has so many wins.
And they have a lot of offensive pressure, and they have used that offensive pressure throughout the season. On the near side of the field, it is number 23, Allison Barrett. Barrett trying to pass it deep, however, that's intercepted by California. They clear it to midfield. Barrett now over to the far side of the field, trying to find a Slippery Rock offensive player. However, that's intercepted by Sam Regney. And now Regney has possession on the far side of the field. Regney moves ahead looking for Smida. That's intercepted by Slippery Rock. But California retains possession. Drop pass. Taken by number 5. That is Kelsey Fisher. That's blocked. And it comes to the near side of the field where Allison Henley tries to work around Phelps. And the ball will go out of bounds, and California will have a throw-in.
Cal's done a good job so far not allowing the Rock to get any pressure, but Slippery Rock has done a great job, too, of not letting Cal get any shots yet.
Phelps tried to find Fisher. It's intercepted by Slippery Rock, but taken right back by California. And it's Phelps battling with Allison Barrett. Barrett passes it over to Henley. Henley back to Barrett. Barrett's going to put a shot in the direction of the goal. That's not going to get through, though, and California will clear back to mid-pitch.
Good save.
It'll be Honey Goski keeping it in bounds, but it's Isabel Scott passing it to number 8. That is Allison Henley. That one will go out of bounds. They're going to say it goes off of California, though, and Slippery Rock will maintain possession.
A big thing with Cal that has really helped them is Paula Jackson has been really strong. She's had 13 shutouts, which is a career high for her. And a big reason is because of 2 defensemen that have actually played together or played against each other up in Ontario, Kristen Orette and Kayla Kamisko.
Now Slippery Rock on the defensive side of the field. It's Isabel Scott. Scott will pass it up to Henley. That's intercepted by California. Slippery Rock takes it back, but not before California gets it. It is Kelsey Fisher. Fisher passing down looking for Bethany Smida, but that's a nice sliding kick there by Slippery Rock to clear it back to midfield, where number 19, Juliana Howell, has possession. This pass is going to go in for Hinckley. Hinckley, drop pass to Barrett. Barrett's going to put a corner shot on the way. That's going to be blocked by California, and it's going to come out to the far side of the field, where Elizabeth Johnston will clear it away. It will go out of bounds, though, and the Rock will get a throw in. 40 minutes and 29 seconds remain in the first half, scoreless between the Rock of Slippery Rock and the Vulcans of California.
So far, it's really been a back and forth game. Neither team has been able to get a lot of momentum, and there haven't been any shots yet. So
Beautiful.
This plays into Slippery Rock's favor so far.
It is Hinckley on the near side. And it's going to be a drop pass off to number 9. That's Danielle Turner. Turner crosses the field and puts a weak shot on goal. It's easily stopped by Paula Jackson for the first shot of the afternoon. And Jackson will kick this one away. This one goes to midfield, which is where Regney tried to control it, but it's cleared by Slippery Rock. Regney, however, will get possession on the far side, and it's going to go out of bounds. Slippery Rock will throw this one in.
Yeah, Slippery Rock had their first shot on goal so far today, and they're going to need to take advantage of these shots because Cal doesn't give up very many, and Paula Jackson has an insane goals against average at .29 on the season. She's let in just 6 goals.
That's a very impressive feat no matter what level of soccer you're at. Now it's Bethany Smida trying to get around Isabel Scott. Maintains possession. Now she's going to be trying to get around Scott, and she cannot do so as this one's going to go to the near corner. And now it's Regney trying to put a shot on goal, but we have a whistle as Slippery Rock will get possession after, I believe, it went into the crease as the goalkeeper, number 00, Dana O'Neill, makes the stop. O'Neill has been just as impressive with Jackson. She's only allowed in 10 goals this season with a goals against average under 1 as well.
Yeah, and that was a great play by Bethany Smida to just control the ball and be able to get a decent scoring chance. That's the only one Cal has had so far.
Phelps passes ahead to Honey Goski. A nice job there by the Slippery Rock defender to kick it out of bounds. That was number 25, Emer Flatley. And Flatley actually got it off of the California player, so it went to Slippery Rock. California takes it right back. It's Kelsey Fisher. Fisher looking. She's going to fire a shot on goal, and that's going to be a goal for California. Kelsey Fisher gets it right over the head of Dana O'Neill. And one shot, one goal for California. It is 1-0 with 38:14 left in the first half.
That was a great shot by Fisher. She was able to just put it right over the goalie. There was no way that Slippery Rock could have really stopped that goal.
So it is 1-0. California has the early lead now off the ensuing face-off. It is Hinckley passing it back to Isabel Scott. Scott sends it down, but it's blocked by California's Aaron Phelps. Now it's Hinckley. And it's going to go out of bounds off of Danielle Turner, and California will throw it in.
Good.
Karina Honeygoski over to Kelsey Fisher. Fisher moves it ahead for Bethany Smida. She's going to try and split the defense. But a nice job by number 25, Emer Flatley. And kicks it out of bounds, and Smida will toss it in. 37-30 left to go in the first half.
It seems like Slippery Rock is really trying to double team Bethany Smida so far. Every time she's gotten the ball, there have been at least 2 Rock defenders on her, and they're going to have to stop her in order to beat California.
Toss in by number 17, Kristen Ort to Smida. She'll put it across the field. That is where Sam Nergny tries to put a shot on goal, but Slippery Rock has a case against that, and they will work it back to midfield. Sliding tackle by California. That's Bethany Smida. And now it's a steal by California, as that was number 3, Channing Weimer. And now we have a whistle and a call against Slippery Rock. And that'll be the first contact-induced whistle we see for today's contest. And Kelsey Fisher will move it back to, I believe this is number 3, Channing Weimer, where we will see action resume. I'm sorry, that's 14. That is Kayla Kamasco. My apologies. Kamasco works it forward. And there is Channing Weimer trying to find Karina Honeygoski. And there is a whistle, and Slippery Rock will take possession here. 36-13 left in this first half, and a 1-0 California lead.
It's really been back and forth. Really, California's been the only one to get. That was a nice shot by them, but there hasn't really been much offensive zone time for either team.
O'Neill moves it ahead to midfield, where a pass comes back to Isabel Scott. Scott, her pass is blocked by Aaron Phelps, and Scott just works it back to number 25, Flatley. And California tries to move it ahead, but it's taken right back by Slippery Rock, and then Channing Weimer intercepts the pass, moves it over to Kelsey Fisher. Fisher, an in and out juke, and moves it over to Sam Regny, who works it ahead to Honeygoski. Honeygoski gets it deep, however, that's intercepted by Scott, and it's just going to be worked out at the top of the zone, where Regny works back to her defense, where Klamasco works deep, and this one will go out of bounds, and Slippery Rock will get the toss in. It is Isabel Scott moving it ahead to Henley. Henley keeps it inbounds, but barely, and Weimer makes sure that doesn't leave the zone. Now Kelsey Fisher with the steal. Fisher cutting across the field. She's going to work to the corner, trying to find someone deep. However, this one's just going to go to the corner and stay in bounds as California. Nice job there. Slippery Rock tried to keep it in. It goes out of bounds, so California gets the toss in.
Yeah, that was a nice job by Allison Henley to be able to deflect the pass. Otherwise, that would have been a clean shot on goal for California.
The far side, the toss in, looking for Smida. Smida trying to work around number 10. That is Rachel Knapp. Cannot do so, but she maintains possession. And now this goes out of bounds, and California will toss it in. It is Elizabeth Johnston. Johnston works it in, trying to find Regny. Cannot do so, and it's intercepted by the Rock. And they will just work it back to the middle of the pitch, where Klamasco works to Weimer, and play continues. Klamasco deep in her own zone. Just controls it, now works it over to Johnston. Or Fisher, I'm sorry. Fisher works it ahead, trying to find Honeygoski. And that's intercepted by number 23. That is Alyssa Barrett. Barrett works it over to Henley. Henley back to Scott, and Scott will just put a high pass that's intercepted by Erin Phelps of California. She'll work it back to her defense. There's where Kayla Clamasco. This pass intercepted by Slippery Rock, however, and it's number 9, shot on goal, and just misses the net wide right. It was number 9, Danielle Turner, who had a clean shot, and Jackson got lucky as that one just went a little bit wide.
Yeah, Danielle Turner has had a couple good chances where she's been able to beat California's midfielders and some of the defenders and get a cut to the middle and get a clean shot on goal.
33:05 left to go in the first half. It is 1-0 California. This one will go out of bounds. It'll be tossed in by Henley. Headed away by Kristen Orritt. So Henley will toss it in once again. Tossing goes to Turner. Turner trying to work around Kristen Orritt. Cannot do so. She'll just throw it to the far corner, which is where number 11, Shelby Ward, has to go and chase it.
Hello?
And now Ward on the far side works it back. This pass is partially deflected by California, and it just goes to number 23, Alyssa Barrett. And it's intercepted by California. Karina Honeygoski will work it down for Bethany Smida. Smida trying to work around the defense, cannot do so. Slide tackle evades that pass, and Allison Henley tries to work it out of the zone but can't. It goes to Erin Phelps, over to Kelsey Fisher. Fisher works around the defense. Now she's going to put a shot on goal, and that one just goes a little bit high. Kelsey Fisher almost had her second goal of the afternoon.
Yeah, that was a really nice fake by Fisher to be able to slow up, pull the ball back, get around the defender, and then get a good scoring chance.
That one almost had it. That looked almost identical to her first shot, just a little bit too high that time. O'Neal now for Slippery Rock will kick it away. It's a low line drive that only gets to about the middle of the Slippery Rock zone, where the pass will work back to Isabel Scott. Scott works it ahead to Turner. Turner is being pressured by Orritt, so she'll just dump it off for Barrett. Barrett works it ahead now for Slippery Rock to the far side. That is where Henley has it, and she'll work it over to Shelby Ward, where it is intercepted by California, but taken right back by Slippery Rock. Shelby Ward, her pass is deflected and taken by California now. And Elizabeth Johnston had it and lost it to Ward, and she'll just work it back to her midfielders. And they'll try to get it deep once again. For California, they just have kind of this wall right around the middle of their zone, and they really have not let anything go past that wall.
They haven't, other than Danielle Turner getting she created the two chances that Slippery Rock has had so far by cutting to the middle and using her speed, but other than that, Slippery Rock has not been able to get around the Cal defense.
Now it is Erin Phelps after that defense suffocates them once again. Working it to midfield where Slippery Rock will just take it and work it back and forth, and it's kind of like the hot potato game at midfield. No one really can get behind it, and they just play catch with one another. It is number 10, Rachel Knapp. Knapp works to her midfielders, but that's stolen by California. And then Slippery Rock works it back to midfield. And now, worked ahead to Smida. Smida can't control it, so the Slippery Rock defense will work it back to midfield, where number 19, that is Juliana Howell, will carry it over midfield, and then we'll see a whistle. And it will be a free kick by the Rock. 29:45 left to go in the first half of action here between the Rock of Slippery Rock and the California Vulcans in the second round of the NCAA Division II soccer playoffs here at Rodman Park at California University of Pennsylvania. California leads 1-0. Thanks for joining us here on CUTV. This free kick is taken by California now as Bethany Smida tries to work it ahead of the Slippery Rock defense. And Karina Honeygoski forces the issue, and she'll keep California's possession where Erin Phelps will send it deep, looking for Sam Regney. Regney has to retreat for that pass, and she can't control it, which is where the Slippery Rock defense once again will take it and work to midfield where Erin Phelps has possession, and she'll work it ahead to Kelsey Fisher. Drop pass left off for Phelps, and she'll send it in the direction of Regney. Regney tries to evade the Slippery Rock defense. And number 14, that is Dana Kaiser, has possession, and she'll work it ahead to her midfielders. And now we will see a whistle after Shelby Ward got tripped up. And the Rock will have a free kick here.
Yeah, so far this is the third free kick that we've seen so far. Cal U has had 1 and Slippery Rock has had 2, but really there hasn't been a whole lot of offense, and I think that's a testament to both teams allowing limited shots throughout the season.
Yeah, and these free kicks will also play a big part in determining the outcome of these games. If Slippery Rock, or both teams for that matter, can convert on them, that could be all the difference that's needed. It's number 10, Rachel Knapp, going to be kicking this one away. It's sent deep, but California heads it out of danger, and Isabel Scott retains possession for Slippery Rock. She'll work it over to the corner. She's driven into the corner by Aaron Phelps, and it goes off of Phelps, and it will stay with Slippery Rock. Scott will toss it in. Scott looks, now she'll toss it into Danielle Turner. Turner sends one in the direction of the net, and it's headed away by California. And Corinne Honigoski comes over to help out. Now we have an injury, as looks like 2 heads collided there between Honigoski and number 23, Alyssa Barrett.
Yeah, it looks like they were just both going after the ball, and instead of getting the ball, their heads collided. That's a dangerous situation for both players.
And after that collision, Barrett got up. Honigoski originally stayed on her feet. Now Honigoski is the one down, holding her head. And that's exactly what happened, is both of those players went up to try and head the ball away, and 2 heads collided. Now Honigoski is down as the California training staff attends to her. Let's look at it one more time there, and looks like Barrett had contact with the ball, and then immediately after was when the collision happened.
Yeah, and Honigoski's been one of the key players for California throughout the year, especially in this game so far.
Yeah, she hasn't been one of the stat leaders, but she's been one of the key players on this team. And we'll take a look now at that first goal again that California scored by Kelsey Fisher. You see she just kind of evaded Barrett before putting that shot off, and just kind of snuck that one right into a small opening between the goalkeeper O'Neill and the top of the net.
Yeah, that was a great goal to put California up 1-0. There really hasn't been a whole lot of offense other than that. There have been a couple free kicks, but neither team has been able to sustain much offensive pressure.
Honigoski is now sitting up, which is a good sign for her. Still sitting on the ground as the California training staff attends to her. 27-32 remains in this first half of action between the Rock of Slippery Rock and the California Vulcans. The Vulcans lead 1-0 off a goal by Kelsey Fisher, which you just saw a few seconds ago on the replays. My name is Alex Kunkel. Alongside of me is Allison Steinheiser, and thanks for joining us here on CUTV on this first half of action, I should say, in NCAA Division II soccer playoffs. And now Honigoski is up and shaking things off, and looks like she might stay in the game.
Yeah, it's great to see her up. Hopefully she was just a little bit shaken up, and we'll be able to see her back in the game.
And she won't stay in the game after all. I guess I have to correct myself on there. And she's going to jog off, but under her own pressure, she's going to be okay. And now the Slippery Rock Rock will have a free kick here once again. It looks like Danielle Turner will take this kick for Slippery Rock.
Yeah, Danielle Turner actually leads the team Slippery Rock with 62 shots on goal. She's high in all the other categories, but really her forte is just getting shots to the net.
Coming in for Honigoski as well is number 10, Sarah Di Benedetto. Benedetto is one of the leaders in Californian assists, and it's going to be kicked away by number 25 for Slippery Rock. That is Flatley, and Paula Jackson makes her first big save of the afternoon and keeps the Rock off the board. It is 1-0 still, and Jackson kicks this one away.
Paula Jackson doesn't see very many shots throughout the season, but we've seen in previous games that we've done that she is there whenever the California defense does have a breakdown.
Now we're back to action here at full strength Passes over to Danielle Turner. This is going to be intercepted by California. But the Rock take it right back. And it is number 21, Marissa Anderson, moving it to the far side of the field where Sam Regney intercepts it. And it's going to go out of bounds off Slippery Rock, and California will get a toss in. Johnston will throw this one in. Johnston throws it over to Fisher. And Fisher works it ahead where Slippery Rock will just intercept this one and send it down the field. And now Kelsey Fisher uses her head and moves it forward, trying to find Dee Benedetto, but it's intercepted by Slippery Rock and worked ahead to Danielle Turner. Turner works it back to Scott, and Scott works it ahead to Shelby Ward. Ward evades Kristen Orett momentarily. Now she'll try to continue that, and she'll move to the middle of the field where Danielle Turner is there. She evades one and then fires a shot, but that's right off the backside of Kayla Klamasco. And that just deflects to the far side of the field. And California gains possession, and they'll just send it back to the middle of the field. Slippery Rock works it ahead to the middle, looking to find number 10. That is Rachel Knapp, but Paula Jackson makes a sliding save. Keeps Slippery Rock off the board once again. Score remains 1-0, 25-45 left in the first half.
Yeah, so far Jackson has done a good job of whenever she does get the ball, just kind of settling things down and letting Cal hopefully get a chance to go on offense.
Dee Benedetto passes it back to Orett, and she'll get it back. Now Dee Benedetto trying to work around a Slippery Rock defender. She will do so and pass it to Spider, who just one touches it back to Dee Benedetto. Trying to find Regney, but that pass just a little too hard for her, and it's taken by Alyssa Barrett, who works it back to the middle of the zone where Kelsey Fisher has possession, and she'll try and work around number 14, Dana Kaiser.
Kelsey Fisher's been all over the field today. She is the lone goal for California, but she's had a couple of great shots as well.
And Fisher right there, too, does a good job. Or I'm sorry, that was Elizabeth Johnston makes a sliding tackle to keep that play alive. Goes out of bounds, stays with California, but Slippery Rock will intercept the throw-in and just send it out of bounds again. So California gets another toss in. 24-45 left to go in the first half. Toss in, trying to find Sam Regney. Bit too far for her, though, and Slippery Rock sends it ahead. And now Elizabeth Johnston throwing some immense pressure on her and ends up intercepting the pass, working it back to midfield, where Alyssa Barrett sends it back. Now we'll see a whistle, and California will get possession here. Looks like they will kick it from just past midfield, and it looks like Johnston will be moving it forward. California, or I'm sorry, it may be 25 or number 5, Kelsey Fisher. We'll wait and see. And yes, Fisher moves it ahead, looking for Regney, but it too far for her. And Slippery Rock is able to intercept it, and another big collision there at the Slippery Rock middle of the zone. Everyone gets up okay, and now it is Kristen Orett. Orett working it toward the goal, and that's just wide left, as it was a bit too high for O'Neill, but Kristen Orett just missed a bit too far to the left, and the score remains 1-0.
Yeah, this is the third shot that we've seen from around the same the same depth in the field. Chris is just able to get it over the net, barely misses that top right corner.
So Dana O'Neill now for Slippery Rock will kick it forward. And this is another low line drive that will be taken by the Rock at midfield, number 19. That is Juliana Howell. Howell works it back to her midfielders, and they will try and move it forward. Kelsey Fisher has something to say about that, but Slippery Rock will move it ahead, where it's driven to the corner. Slippery Rock will just send it out, and now they'll get looks like they may get a corner kick here, the first corner kick of the afternoon. It'll be, looks like number 10 for Slippery Rock. That is Rachel Knapp taking the corner kick from the far side of the field. 4 shots for California, 4 shots for Slippery Rock, as Paula Jackson has made 3 saves. No saves made yet by Danielle O'Neill. And Knapp is ready for the corner kick here.
And Cal does not give up very many corner kicks. They've only given up 37 on the year.
The corner kick gets to the middle of all this traffic, but I believe Paula Jackson kind of got a hand in there and just sent it back, which is where California will take it in the middle of their own zone. Smida trying to work the ball away from Juliana Howell. Now we'll see a slide tackle and a whistle. And Slippery Rock will be throwing this in. And it will be Rachel Knapp that's actually going to kick it in.
It did look like Paula Jackson did get a hand on that, and it's nice whenever you have a veteran goalkeeper. Paula Jackson's actually played for the Jamaican national team, and she's really been able to keep California calm, although they have given up 4 shots already in this game.
This kick is going to be intercepted by California and worked ahead. It is number 12, Erin Phelps, who had possession, but now, number 3, Channing Weimer. It's kicked in by Slippery Rock, but we're going to see a whistle here, and California will move it ahead. 21-10 left to go in the first half. California has a 1-0 lead over the Rock of Slippery Rock. Slippery Rock now has possession, works it forward. It is Juliana Howell working it, a nice slide, or a nice tackle there by one of the California players. But this pass will go out of bounds, and Slippery Rock will toss it in. As it is a bit chilly here at Redmond Park, warmer than the normal temperature would be. I believe it's in like the mid-50s, but with a little bit of a wind and on and off showers, it makes it feel a lot colder than mid-50s.
It does, and that's definitely going to play an effect as the game wears on, because players coming off the benches are not going to be as warm. They could have, their muscles will be tighter, so it will definitely have an effect as the game goes on.
This pass by Slippery Rock sent into the near corner, but that's too far, and we're going to see our first substitutions of the afternoon for California. It is number 6, Darya Davidson, coming in for Channing Weimer. And Davidson, another one of these young players for California who's had an impact in the scoring department.
Yeah, Darya Davidson was definitely had an impact this year. She was one of the players that came in and has just done a great job for California.
Now the throw in by Slippery Rock, taken by 21, and it's sent ahead to Sarah DiBenedetto. Benedetto works it ahead to Smida, but that pass a little bit too hard, where number 10 for Slippery Rock, Rachel Knapp, took her out and moves play forward. Knapp passes it to Alyssa Barrett. Barrett tried to find Shelby Ward, but that's intercepted by California and worked back to the middle of the zone. California is able to clear it back to midfield, where Smida tries to work it ahead to Sam Regney. Now we see a little collision, and Regney is able to gain possession and move it to the near corner, but it goes out of bounds, and Isabel Scott will toss it in for the Rock.
Sam Regney has been another one of the players that has really helped Cal's offense. She was also named to the PSAC selection team.
California had 7 of those players, if I'm not mistaken, who went on that all PSAC team, which is an impressive feat to have 7 players, let alone 1 or 2.
Right, and I think that's a testament to how well California has played all season.
And it's also a testament as well to the team that head coach Al Alvine has put together. Alvine has guided this California squad to their first 2 ever NCAA postseason appearances, which is where we are now in the second round of the NCAA tournament, and California leads the Rock 1-0. 18 minutes left to go in the first half, and this pass by Slippery Rock sent into the near corner, where Kristen Orr will retreat and retrieve this one and works it over to the defense, where Erin Phelps will try and work it out of the zone. Pass goes ahead, trying to find Bethany Smida. This one going to the corner, and number 25, Emer Flatley has Smida work this pass out of bounds. Now Isabel Scott will throw in once again.
Slippery Rock has done a great job of limiting California's chances, but especially limiting Bethany Smida. She has gotten a couple chances where she's gotten the ball and almost beaten them, but they have not let her get a shot on goal yet.
Now this one at midfield once again, DiBenedetto giving chase, but it's Slippery Rock maintaining possession, working up to their midfielders, where Alyssa Barrett takes it over midfield, and will pass it deep into California zone, where Elizabeth Johnston just intercepts and sends it back to Di Benedetto. Benedetto works it ahead, trying to find Regni. That pass out of her reach, though, and this will go to the near sideline where Flatley works it away from Regni and passes it to Scott. Scott tries to work it ahead of Sam Regni, but that pass intercepted by Ort. It goes right back to Regni anyways. Regni finding Smida. This pass goes over to the far side, and Smida trying to give chase, and now we'll see a whistle against the Vulcans and Bethany Smida. And Slippery Rock will kick it away.
Yeah, just a little bit too physical that time by Smida.
Now at midfield, we'll see another slide tackle, and it's going to go against Slippery Rock this time. The whistle will, as number 5, that is Kelsey Fisher, tried to gain possession, and just a little too much contact there.
Yeah, there have been quite a few fouls in this game, but the officials are trying to let them play, but there have been a couple of times where they've gotten overly physical.
Now California trying to gain possession once again. Slippery Rock is able to intercept it, and they'll work it over to Shelby Ward, but Kristen Orrit kicks it out of bounds, and Slippery Rock will throw it in once again. 15:54 left to go in this first half of action here, and California leads 1-0. Thanks for joining us here on CUTV on this Sunday afternoon of soccer. Passed away, trying to find Shelby Ward, intercepted by California, and they'll work it over to Beth Smida. And Darya Davidson will send it deep, looking for Sarah Di Benedetto, but it's intercepted by Slippery Rock, and they will move it forward. Slippery Rock has not seen a lot of offensive action here in the last few minutes, Allison.
They haven't really. Neither team has. There's been a lot of midfield play this whole game. It might be one shot, but neither team has been able to sustain any offensive pressure.
Alyssa Barrett gives chase to this pass to win a little Ari and works it over to 21. That is Marissa Anderson. Anderson trying to work it deep. It goes off the head of Kristen Orrit, so Isabel Scott will throw it in from the near sideline.
And we talked about how Paula Jackson had 13 shutouts on the season. Well, in the past 5 games, she has not let in a goal. And Cal is 4-0-1. That one tie coming in the PSAC championship game against Westchester. They actually lost on penalty kicks 4-3.
Yeah, California looking for a PSAC title, giving Westchester, who is the 1 seed, a run for their money. And when you have a game that goes into penalty kick mode in the playoff time, you know you've got 2 teams going head-to-head right there. Now it's Slippery Rock with possession. It's Anderson working it back to Isabel Scott. Scott will work it ahead, trying to find Shelby Ward, but it's intercepted by California, and Beth Smida will send it deep for Sam Regni. Regni trying to work about Isabel Scott, but she cannot, and Scott will just go into the corner, where number 10, Rachel Knapp, will move it back to the middle of the pitch, where Davidson is able to work it to Smida and back to Fisher. Fisher lets a rocket of a shot go by, but it's just a little bit left. And with 13:46 left in the first half, we will see another substitution for California. This time, it is number 15. That is Camilla Lillafiere. Or I'm 16. I'm sorry. That is Carly Work.
Carly Work has been another one of the players. She was also named to the PSAC's team, and she has been very solid for the Vulcans this year.
Work came in as a freshman last year and really had a solid season last year and continued this year. The corner kick is going off a couple of heads right in front of the net, but nothing really happens from it. Now it'll just come back to the near sidelines, where it'll go off of Work, and it'll go off of Slippery Rock's number 10, Rachel Knapp. So California will retain possession. And there's a big collision there between Phelps and number 10, Rachel Knapp. And then we kind of see a little bit of retaliation contact, and we'll see a yellow card. And I believe this is going to go against number 12, Erin Phelps.
Yeah, that's the first yellow card we've seen so far in this game. There have been a few fouls, and this game is turning pretty physical, but that is the first yellow card that we have seen.
As we saw a big collision just a moment before between number 10, Rachel Knapp, and number 16, that is Carly Work. And then one of the California players came back and had a little bit of contact with Knapp as she tried to retain the ball. And California now has possession. It is Phelps losing it to number 8. That was Allison Henley. It goes out of bounds, so Henley will throw it in once again. 12:25 left to go in the first half. California remains on top 1-0. And it will be Scott throwing it in to number 21. She'll pass it forward, trying to find number 11. That is Shelby Ward, and it just goes out of bounds, deflects off of a storage container, and comes back into the field, where Scott will throw it in.
One thing we've seen a lot of this game is there have been quite a few throw-ins because of the fact that neither team has really been able to get to the middle of the field in order to get shots. California has a couple times, and they've gotten good chances off of it, but really both teams are doing a great job of keeping the ball to the outside.
And that's a great testament to the defenses that these two teams have and why they are as deep as they are into the postseason. This shot goes off of the head of Shelby Ward and to the right of the net, where Paula Jackson will scoop it up, slow things down, and kick this one away to midfield, where it is taken off the foot of Erin Phelps. Over to Kelsey Fisher. Fisher tries to work it deep, where it's just intercepted by Slippery Rock, and they'll send it to the far side of the field, where Darya Davidson moves it ahead to Fisher, but it's intercepted by Danielle Turner. Turner is able to work it back to the middle of the field. Almost intercepted by Carly Work, but it instead goes back to Isabel Scott. And Marissa Anderson for Slippery Rock is able to move it back to the middle of the California zone, which is where Erin Phelps takes it for the Vulcans. Phelps moves it deep, trying to find Smida. Smida is able to corral the ball, though. And at the middle of the field, she'll just move it around back to Kelsey Fisher. Fisher sends a chip shot into the Slippery Rock zone, where it is bounced around, and now Phelps corrals it on a bounce. Works it over to Carly Work. Work sends it into the corner. Smida trying to gain possession, but it's Slippery Rock who's able to come out with it. And now it is Rachel Knapp moving the pass forward, trying to find Ward, but California's Darya Davidson intercepts it, moves it over to Work, who tried to find Fisher, but she slipped. Luckily for California, it comes right back to Work. And now over to Davidson. Davidson over to Di Benedetto. Benedetto trying to find something open. She'll try and work around Anderson. Now she'll let a shot fly, and that one's going to go wide left. And with 9:52 left in this first half, the score remains 1-0 California.
Yeah, that was a nice play by Sarah Di Benedetto. She knew she didn't have anything. She wasn't going to be able to get a good shot on net, so she pulled up, waited for somebody to come in, and then was able to make the pass to the middle.
It'll be Dana O'Neill kicking away again for Slippery Rock. This one comes over to the near side of the field, and it's going to go out of bounds off of number 11. That is Shelby Ward, and right in front of us. And Erin Phelps off of the throw-in will send it into the far corner. And after a couple of deflections, it just comes right back out to midfield, where the hot potato game will continue between these two teams. In their own zone, Slippery Rock moves it ahead to number 21, Marissa Anderson. Anderson works it over to Isabel Scott. Scott over to number 11, Shelby Ward. Ward, that's intercepted though by California. And Carly Work over to the far side of the field, where Rachel Knapp will intercept that pass and work it back to Isabel Scott. Scott at midfield, her pass is intercepted by California. And as Erin Phelps tried to move forward, it was number 8. That was Allison Henley who intercepted that, and the pass comes out of bounds. And I believe we're going to see another substitution here, one for each team this time. As we see on the replay, it just goes right off of the leg of Darya Davidson, and then a little push by Henley. Substitution for California is number 13. That is Tonya Fabian, another freshman. Heard a lot of freshmen and sophomores on this team. This is a very young team, but that means nothing in the way of results. California has just been the dominant team throughout the PSAC all season long.
They really have been. They do a great job of recruiting, not only around the area, but also in other countries like Ireland or Canada. So they've done a great job of being able to get the freshmen to come in and play right away.
Now it is number 20, Bethany Smida, working it to midfield for California, where Slippery Rock will just take this. And the defender, number 14, that is Dana Kiger, works it around Carly Work. And Slippery Rock is able to get it somewhat deep. That is where Elizabeth Johnston intercepts it. And now this pass will go out of bounds, and we will see California with possession. And Johnston will kick it away. We're down to 7:15 left to go in the first half.
Yeah, we've talked about players that have made the All-PSHC team. Bethany Smida is a freshman. She made it. Sam Regney, Paula Jackson, Kayla Kamalsko, Kristen Orett, and Carly Work all made that team. That's a great job by them, and it really shows how strong of a team California was this year.
Now Bethany Smida has a chance for California, but that's intercepted by number 10. That is Rachel Knapp. She'll work it ahead to Danielle Danielle Turner, I'm sorry, out of lane, and then that's intercepted by Darya Davidson, who works it over to Elizabeth Johnston, and she'll work it to Carly Work. Work's pass is intercepted by Slippery Rock, and it'll go out of bounds, so it'll be a throw-in for California. 6:30 left to go in the first half. This one's going to go back to midfield where Sarah DiBenedetto has it, over to Davidson. Davidson, a sliding kick, moving it forward to Beth Smida. Smida drop pass, trying to find Kristen Orett, but Orett stumbles, and it'll be back to midfield where Fabian tried to gain possession, but it's Isabel Scott who has a better lane and possession.
And we've seen that a couple times already with players stumbling, whether it be trying to go after the ball or after the play is over. And a lot of that is because the field is wet. It rained earlier. The conditions aren't great, so that could play a big factor in the game.
And the rain has not stopped yet, too. It's been on and off all day. And about 2 minutes ago in this game, it was still sprinkling a little bit. For now, it is done. But I think these players and fans know alike that it's probably not done for the day. Now it's California. Working it ahead, trying to find Smida, another slide tackle, and it's intercepted by Slippery Rock. Worked ahead to the far side of the field where 16 has for Slippery Rock, and now a midfield battle, and this one's just going to be sent deep, where the Slippery Rock defense, led by number 25, Emer Flatley, has it. Now a little bit of a push by Phelps, and now we will see a whistle and a foul. And Slippery Rock's number 23, Melissa Barrett, will move it forward.
There were 3 plays in that last about minute that were dangerous and could have been called fouls. The officials are definitely letting them play because it is obviously a regional game, but this game is getting very physical very quickly.
4:35 left to go in the first half between these two teams. California leads 1-0 off a goal by Kelsey Fisher. This free kick going to be headed away by the California defense, and it's just going to be taken by Slippery Rock on the far side of the field. And number 20 for California, that is Smida, is able to block the pass and send it out of bounds. But Slippery Rock will maintain possession, and a throw in is headed away by Elizabeth Johnston, and now Sarah DiBenedetto. She's just able to work it back to midfield, where it'll go off of 1-2 heads, and then off of the leg of Aaron Phelps, who works it ahead to Smida. Smida works it back to midfield where DiBenedetto has it. Over to Sam Regney. Now it's worked back to Fisher. Fisher works it to Phelps. Phelps drop pass over to Kristen Orett. Orett trying to work around Isabel Scott. She will do so. Then puts a shot on goal, and that's going to be way high and wide left. So the score remains 1-0. 6 shots now for California, 4 for the Rock.
And most of those shots have been towards the upper portion of the net, whether it be over the net or into it. But they're trying to shoot high. They're getting their chances. California's trying to get quick shots. They have only been able to capitalize once, though.
And now 3:10 left to go. I believe the rain is starting to fall again, which is exactly what I said it would do a couple of minutes ago. California sends this one deep. Looking for Beth Smida way over her head, though, and it'll go out of bounds, and O'Neill will kick it away once again. We're down to 2:50 left to go in the first half between these two teams.
Yeah, and one of the things you talked about was the weather. it is a big difference for these girls. They start out playing in August and September, whenever it might be 90 degrees and sunny outside, and now in November late, when the games matter most, they have to get used to the cold and rain.
Sometimes even snow. Not right now, but wouldn't be surprised if it started snowing very soon. Thrown by California, or by Slippery Rock. It's intercepted by California, and Carly Work weaves her way around the defender, now tries to get a shot off, and it's deflected by number 10, Rachel Knapp. Goes to the far side of the field now, and it's a battle between these two teams. It's go out of bounds, and Slippery Rock will have the toss in, and they quickly get it in. We'll see a whistle, as I think was a little too quick, and Slippery Rock will have to do it all over again. A minute 55 left in this first half. It'll be number 14, Dana Keiger, tossing it in. It comes right back out of bounds, though. And now California will get the toss in for the free. Yes, it will be a free kick after all. It'll be Kelsey Fisher. Fisher sends it forward, looking for number 12. That's Aaron Phelps. A little bit of contact there. Everyone's okay. And now Di Benedetto has it. And Benedetto works it ahead for Kristen Orp. That's intercepted by Isabel Scott, but it comes right back to Di Benedetto, and she'll leave it for Tonya Fabian. Fabian tries to work around two defenders and can't exactly do so. It'll come back to midfield, where Clamasco works for Orp. We're down to the final minute. Orr is able to work it ahead to number 10, Di Benedetto. Now there's a big chance for Fabian, but the pass just off of her leg, and she can't control it. And Slippery Rock will have a chance here with a clear.
Fabian did a good job of hanging onto the ball. She hung on just a little bit too long, though, and Slippery Rock was able to get it away from her.
Slippery Rock passes ahead. It's Danielle Turner. Turner across midfield, sends it deep, looking for number 11, Shelby Ward, but this is going to be intercepted by California's number 4. That is Kelsey Fisher. Or I'm sorry, that is, yes, Kelsey Fisher. Fisher lost it, so it will be number 9, Danielle Turner. Turner works it ahead, and now we'll see, goes out of bounds as we're down to 9, 8, 7 seconds remaining. And California will get the kick in, and with the kick, it will most likely be the end of the first half, and that will be the end of the first half of action here at Robden Park Soccer Complex at California University of Pennsylvania. At the end of one, it is California 1, Slippery Rock 0, and we will take a quick break. We will be right back with the second half of action right here in the second round of NCAA Soccer Playoffs.
Has CUTV really brought you 25 years of award-winning sports coverage? Does Andy Walter really hate Penguins fans?
What is wrong with you people? The Penguins Yinzers. I don't understand. Captain Scum idiots. He's a rat.
Start punching people.
Conspiracy with Crosby fan. Canada. Get out of here. He'll always be a rat. I don't think so. We don't want you here. He's a rat. He's a rat. He's a rat. It's enough out of you. Yeah, setting up a dynasty.
Welcome back to the Robden Park Soccer Complex on the campus of California University of Pennsylvania, as the California Vulcans hold a 1-0 lead over the Rock of Slippery Rock.
Yeah, and here you see the only goal by Kelsey Fisher. She does a good job to cut to the middle and is able to just get a nice shot that goes right over the goalkeeper for Slippery Rock under the crossbar to put the Vulcans up 1-0.
That was the only goal of the first half in a very midfield dominated first half of action between these two teams. Again, the winner of this game will take on the winner of the Westchester-Bloomsburg game, which is being held out in Westchester. We do not have an update on that game as of right now. when you guys see this game later, you most likely will know the outcome of this game and that game. So you'll be better knowledged in that department than we are.
Yeah, and on Friday, Bloomsburg actually upset Kutztown in order to face off against Westchester.
And Slippery Rock at the same time defeated the West Virginia Wesleyan team, which gave them the berth here right now. And now we are just about ready to get underway here between these two teams, as Slippery Rock sends it back into their own zone, and they will work from the defense to the midfielders. It is number 9, Danielle Turner, trying to move it forward, intercepted, and it's going to be a throw in by Elizabeth Johnston. Johnston sends it over to Sam Regney. Comes out back to Danielle Turner, and Turner kind of loses her balance. It goes out of bounds, and Johnston will throw it in once again. Johnston tosses it in, looking for Smida. It's intercepted by Slippery Rock, and it is number 11, Shelby Ward. Intercepted by Johnston, and it'll go out of bounds off of California. So Slippery Rock will get the throw in. 44-15 left in the second half.
And we've already seen 45 seconds in. This is the third throw-in for both teams. And that's just how the game has pretty much gone on. Neither team really has been able to cut to the middle and get good scoring chances.
It'll be a throw-in this time by number 14, Dana Kaiser. And California's able to intercept it, and Elizabeth Johnston sends it to midfield, where it comes right back out. And Johnston will be throwing it in for, I believe, now the 5th time in this game, in this half alone. And it'll be forwarded by number 3, that is Channing Weimer, trying to find Smida, but that is intercepted nicely by the Slippery Rock defense. But then Smida is able to regain possession and just send it toward the net, where Dana O'Neill will send it to the corner, and I believe we're going to see a corner kick here.
That was a great job by Smida to be able to body the Slippery Rock player off of the ball, get control, and almost create a scoring chance.
It'll be number 5, Kayla Franco, sending the corner kick away. Here it is. And it's going to go behind the net. So it is no good, and Slippery Rock will get the free kick from Dana O'Neill, upcoming 42-55 left in the second half. O'Neill, the 5'9" sophomore goaltender for this Slippery Rock team, kicks it away. And it's going to be sent ahead into the middle of the field, where Sarah D. Benedetto will take it. Sends it back toward the net, where O'Neill will scoop it and throw it ahead for number 14. And a nice slide tackle there by the California player. That is Sam Regney. And now it is Danielle Turner sending it back to 14, Kaiser. California intercepts it. It goes off the body of Channing Weimer. And Slippery Rock is able to maintain possession. It works back. And midfield for Danielle Turner. Turner works around a California defender. Now we'll leave it for number 8. That is Allison Henley. Henley has it and then works back toward defense. That is Isabel Scott. And Scott has a lane. She'll get it down to the side, and it will go out of bounds. So California will get the throw in. And as soon as we say we don't know an update on that score, we do have an update on the Westchester Bloomsburg score. It was 2-0 Westchester defeating the Huskies of Bloomsburg.
Yeah, so the Atlantic Region will have an all-PSAC final with either Slippery Rock or Cal U. If Cal U advances, if this score stands, it will be a rematch of the PSAC championship game, which went to penalty kicks, so it should be a very good game.
And no matter who wins this game, the Atlantic Regional Final will be at Westchester, as they are the 1 seed in the region. As it's a throw-in by California, looking for Bethany Smida. And a little bit of contact there, and coming away with possession is California. It is Sarah D. Benedetto. Benedetto working it forward, trying to find Regney. It's blocked by Slippery Rock, but California tries to scramble for possession, and it'll just come back out to the middle of the zone. Drop pass over for Franco, taken by California, and then it's cleared to the far side of the field, where Regney battles with Kaiser for possession. Cleared by Slippery Rock and Danielle Turner. will leave it for her defense in Henley. And it's worked forward to midfield, where Elizabeth Johnston moves it away once ahead for California. Johnston finds Regney in the corner. That is slid out of bounds by number 10, Rachel Knapp. So California will have another throw in as Regney's slow to get up.
Yeah, you can see on the play, the Slippery Rock player slides into her in the slide tackle and catches her calf. It could be a cramp, or she could have twisted her ankle on that play.
Regney is up and moving, though, which is a good sign. She will remain in the game. Thrown by California. Goes out to number 3, Channing Weimer. Back to Johnston. Johnston uses her head to move it forward and moves it to Bethany Smida. Smida tries to turn the corner, and a little bit of a tackle there. Nothing called, and the California faithful do not like it. Play continues, however. 39:58 left to go in this second half.
This game has gotten very physical.
It's worked ahead to Shelby Ward. Ward tries to work her way around Kayla Kalasco and cannot do so. But California Slippery Rock maintained possession for a second before Elizabeth Johnston was able to move the ball forward. It goes off of Slippery Rock, so California will get another throw in.
Good job by Johnston, just to be able to control the ball down low with the Slippery Rock player right on her back. She's just able to keep control and force Slippery Rock to kick it out of bounds.
Allison Henley now works to Shelby Ward. Ward has possession and she moves to Rachel Knapp. She sends a kick into the corner, which is taken by California, and they will move it ahead. It's worked ahead by California, trying to find Sarah DiBenedetto. That pass a bit too far for her, so Slippery Rock's Henley will take care of it. And Isabel Scott will send it to midfield, where California and Slippery Rock will battle for possession of this. And Regney comes away with it for a second before it is now worked into California or Slippery Rock territory. It's Bethany Smida. Smida trying to turn the corner, can't. And Aaron Phelps at midfield will keep this ball in the Slippery Rock zone for a moment before it goes out of bounds, and California will get the throw in.
The Slippery Rock defenders have been very physical this game, especially on Bethany Smida. We've seen really in the past minute of play, there have been a couple times where there has been contact made and they've been able to knock her off the ball.
Now it is California with possession. It's Kayla Franco. Franco works her way around the defender and sends a shot on the way, but that is wide right. So California will get another throw in here, or I'm sorry, it looks like Slippery Rock will get the free kick after all. Because originally I thought that went off a Slippery Rock player, but it did not. So O'Neill will kick it away.
Franco did a good job of getting around the Slippery Rock defender, cutting to the middle, and getting another shot.
The kick is away by O'Neill, but it's sent right back by Sarah DiBenedetto. And Benedetto just sends a kick, and it's going to go out of bounds. So Slippery Rock gets the throw in. And it'll be number 14, Dana Keiger. Keiger throws it in, then it goes off of number 5, Kayla Franco. So Slippery Rock has possession. And Slippery Rock tried to move it back to their defense, but it was intercepted by Smida. And Aaron Phelps now sends it to the far side. California working around the defender, now sends a little bit of a slide pass over that's intercepted by Slippery Rock. And this pass comes to the near side of the pitch, where Danielle Turner tries to work around the California defender, Kayla Franco, sends it over to Shelby Ward. Ward drop pass over. And this pass intercepted by California. And it is Sam Regney trying to work around the Slippery Rock defender. That is Shelby Ward, or 21, I'm sorry, that is Marissa Anderson. And now we'll see a substitution as Sam Regney's going to check out of this game. And checking in is, well, I'm not sure who that is at the moment. I missed that number.
I believe it's Tonya Fabian.
Regardless, play will continue and California has possession. It's Franco working it ahead to Sarah DiBenedetto. Benedetto tried to find Franco once again, but Slippery Rock intercepted it, but it goes out of bounds off of the rock, so California would get the throw in.
Kayla Franco's used her speed a lot in this game. You saw it about 30 seconds ago on the whenever she was coming back into the zone. She was able to catch up to the Slippery Rock player, not let her get a clean break, and then there she used it to get into the zone and pass it to Sarah DiBenedetto.
And shot on the way by California is stopped by Dana O'Neill, and she'll forward it to number 11, Shelby Ward. Shelby Ward passes it to 23, Alyssa Barrett, but the return pass goes out of bounds, so Elizabeth Johnston will throw it in for California and finds Sarah DiBenedetto. DiBenedetto passes ahead for Tonya Fabian, who checked in for Regni, and then Smita tries to find Fabian back and cannot do so, so it's intercepted by Slippery Rock. And number 16, Ashley Pagani, moves it forward, and it's just another midfield hot potato battle where Slippery Rock moves it to Shelby Ward. Ward tries to pass back to find number 8. That was Henley. California was able to nullify that, and it goes to the far side of the field where it goes out of bounds off of California. So Isabel Scott will come over to throw it in for the Rock.
Shelby Ward, the sophomore for Slippery Rock, has been a lot more involved in the second half of this game than she was in the first half.
And now 34-50 remains in the second half of action between these two teams, the Rock of Slippery Rock and the California Vulcans, in the second round of Division II women's soccer playoffs. The California Vulcans lead 1-0, and thanks for joining us here on our coverage of the soccer playoffs on CUTV. My name is Alex Conkle. Alongside of me is Allison Steinheiser. This pass off the throw-in goes to the corner once again. It goes out of bounds, and it will be another throw-in for Slippery Rock. This time it'll be number 16, Ashley Pagani. Pagani throws it in, looking for Ward, but California is able to slice its way a little bit away, and then the shot ends up going on goal. Jackson tips it up to herself and makes the save. Jackson has not made a lot of saves. That's her fourth save of the afternoon, but she has not been tested a lot, but when she has come up big for California.
She has been, and that's the story of the year for Jackson. That was Slippery Rock's first shot of this half, but Jackson was there to stop it.
Now these shots are 8 shots for California, 5 for the Rock of Slippery Rock, as this ball will go out of bounds, and California will get the throw in.
California only averages giving up a little over 7 shots a game, so Slippery Rock has been able to get to the defense of California and get shots on Paula Jackson.
And again, Slippery Rock, or I should say California, has not been scored on in 5 straight games. There's a shot on goal by Tonya Fabian, blocked in front of the net. The rebound comes back to the far side of the field where Sarah DiBenedetto leaves it for Beth Smita. Smita is trying to find Fabian, but a nice interception there by Slippery Rock. And then that goes out of bounds, and possession will go to the Rock as we reach the 32-55 mark in the second half.
Yeah, and Fabian really showed her strength. She was able to fight off the Slippery Rock defenders and get a scoring chance. She's another one of the freshmen that has a long future here at California.
Dana O'Neill will kick it away once again for Slippery Rock. And this is a kick to the near side of the field where it is off the leg of Allison Henley. Now to 21, Marissa Anderson back to the defense. And it's worked around Kayla Franco. And now off the leg of Sarah DiBenedetto. So Slippery Rock's Henley will inbound it once again. Comes over to the near side where Pagani in the corner sends a shot on net, but this is going to be way behind. So it will go out of bounds, and Paula Jackson will just kick this one or throw this one as she so chooses into play.
Yeah, California trying to use their speed again, but Slippery Rock trying to use their speed, but California is able to keep them wide. They haven't really been able to get to the net very often, and when they have, Paula Jackson has been there to stop the ball.
Jackson will kick this one away. 31:40 left to go in the second half. This pass intended for DiBenedetto. It just goes off, or it goes off of no one and out of bounds. So Slippery Rock with the throw in, intercepted by California. Smita tried to do a one-touch pass to DiBenedetto. Regardless, Kayla Franco has it now for California. Franco does a little stop and stutter, loses possession, and it comes over to the near side to DiBenedetto. DiBenedetto tried to find Weimer, one touch, and it now goes into the corner looking for Tonya Fabian. Kept alive, though, by Kristen Ord. It goes into the corner, and it goes off a California player near the net. So Slippery Rock will gain possession once again. And Dana O'Neill kicks it away. Comes back to midfield, but no further as Sarah DiBenedetto has possession. Works around one Slippery Rock player, then tries to give a one-touch pass deep to Smida. Intercepted by Slippery Rock, and they will take it the other way. It is Shelby Ward, had it and lost it, and now Franco. Franco has two defenders coming, sends it deep, intercepted by Slippery Rock, but Franco tries to find it and loses it, so Slippery Rock and Allison Henley are able to work it into the California zone, where Kayla Clamasco has possession and works it ahead to DiBenedetto. Goes off the foot of number 14, Dana Kiger. So the throw by California goes to Channing Weimer. Weimer trying to find Smida, but it comes over in the area of Fabian. And Fabian can't control it, so it'll come to the near side, or the far sideline, which is where 23, Alyssa Barrett has it, loses it, so Fabian, drop pass over to Kristen Orrit. Orrit on the far sidelines, it's gonna go out of bounds. And the throw-in will be by Slippery Rock. 29:35 left in the second half.
The California midfield is doing a good job of being able to get the ball up to the forwards. However, the forwards aren't really going to be able to create very much, although they are trying to use their speed because the Slippery Rock defenders are doing a good job of shutting them down.
Once again, the California midfielders keep it in. And they send it deep, but it's taken right back by Slippery Rock and headed away quickly by number 4. That is Kelsey Fisher. And Fisher works it ahead to the midfielders, and that pass off of Kayla Franco, which allows Danielle Turner to send it into the corner for Shelby Ward. Shelby Ward back to Turner, and that's intercepted by Johnston, and Johnston will just send this one away, and it goes out of bounds. So Slippery Rock gets the throw in from the near sideline. It'll be Dana Kiger throwing it in to Danielle Turner. Turner has it, and she'll just send it back to her midfielder, but it's blocked, and DiBenedetto was able to clear it to center, which is where it pops into the air, and it's going to go out of bounds off of Slippery Rock, so California will get the throw in.
That was really one of the first possessions that Slippery Rock is able to sustain some pressure in the offensive zone, but California did a good job of not letting them get any shots off.
It'll be Kayla Franco trying to send it forward. It's going to go back to Slippery Rock, however, and Shelby Ward tries to take it. And it's going to go off of Slippery Rock and into California possession. A lot of confusion as to who should have possession. A lot of yelling from the fans, but California's Elizabeth Johnston will throw it in. And it'll come to midfield where Erin Phelps forwards it ahead to the far side. And California, Chris Orrit moves it for Tonya Fabian. Fabian, drop pass, and that finds Erin Phelps. Phelps has possession and loses it. And that is where Ashley Pagani. Pagani has a lane, then she kind of stumbles up as a nice block there by Elizabeth Johnston. And that ball will just come out of bounds and allow Slippery Rock another throw in here. 27-10 left in the second half.
That's another example there of the field and the weather coming into play, as players have been losing their footing a lot during this game.
This ball driven into the corner by California. It's just going to go out of bounds, so Slippery Rock will get the free kick / throw in, as we'll see a substitution for California coming into the game is, I believe, this is number 6, Darya Davidson, coming back in. She appeared for a little while in the first half. And play will continue, as here's the kick by O'Neill. And it is forwarded by Alyssa Barrett, but intercepted by California before Marissa Anderson for Slippery Rock is able to clear it to the middle of the pitch, which is where the midfielders for California will take over once again. And Elizabeth Johnston sends it to Sarah DiBenedetto. Benedetto tries to work around Alyssa Barrett, but cannot do so. So Slippery Rock is able to gain possession, where Kayla Franco had it, lost it. So then Barrett Over midfield, stops up and passes over to Shelby Ward. Shelby Ward sends it to Pagani. She'll send a shot on goal. And this is going to go wide and into the far corner, which is where Slippery Rock will give chase. And it'll go over to the corner where Slippery Rock will maintain possession. Then this comes in the direction of the goal, and Paula Jackson steps out and makes the save. The 6th shot on goal for the Rock, and the score remains 1-0.
Yeah, there have been a lot of 50-50 balls where both players have been going up, trying to head the ball into the air. We already saw one injury for California, and Honey Goski, I have not seen her back in the game since that day.
Now California, nice slide there by Elizabeth Johnston to get that one out of bounds. Slippery Rock will get the throw in, and it'll be number 14, Dana Kaiser. Kaiser's throwing it in. That's intercepted by Elizabeth Johnston. And Johnston works it ahead to Sarah Di Benedetto. Di Benedetto is able to forward it, trying to find Beth Smida, but that is Dana O'Neill there, who's able to scoop that pass up and send it away once again for Slippery Rock. A high booming kick that comes to the middle of the pitch where it's intercepted by California. Tonya Fabian had it and lost it. Now we'll see a foul called against Fabian as she trips up number 23, Alyssa Barrett of Slippery Rock.
Yeah, Fabian is a physical player, as you can see from a lot of this game, but that time she just got a little bit overly physical, and it's a chance for Slippery Rock.
They will get the free kick, and it will be number 10, Rachel Knapp, sending it forward. California just sends it right back, and Slippery Rock gains possession once again. Fabian's able to intercept that pass, and Franco almost had it going the other way again, but it's Slippery Rock maintaining possession. It was number 8 that time, Allison Henley. Her pass was intercepted by the Rock, or by California, and they send it out of bounds. So Pagani will send it in for Slippery Rock in the throw-in.
This game has been really physical. There have been quite a few free kicks off of fouls, and that could take, neither team's been able to take advantage of any of those.
It is Pagani now for Slippery Rock, working around the defender. Now she gets tangled up with a couple, and California's able to work it back to midfield, where Isabel Scott is able to work her way around 2 California defenders and then send it into the Vulcan zone, which is where Darya Davidson slows things down and sends a pass away to Sarah Di Benedetto. Di Benedetto is able to get it deep, and Bethany Smida will give chase to that, and she has possession, and then they're going to call a foul against her. So possession will go to Slippery Rock. Over there on the far side of the field, Smida thought she had a chance. Referees say otherwise.
Slippery Rock has to be happy with how they played so far, especially against Bethany Smida. She has not gotten any major chances, and they are starting to frustrate her. She's starting to play a little bit more physical, and that's what caused the foul.
22:45 left to go in this second half of action in the second round of the NCAA Division II Women's Soccer Playoff between the Rock of Slippery Rock and the Vulcans of California. Vulcans lead 1-0. Thanks for joining us here on CUTV. Our coverage of these NCAA Division II Soccer Playoffs. Throw in by Isabel Scott. It's intercepted by California, but Slippery Rock will take it right back and work it ahead to Pagani. California doesn't want any of that, so they'll just send it back into the Slippery Rock zone where there's Bethany Smida. Has it. She's able to work it away from the defender and send a shot on goal. Dana O'Neill is right in front of that, though, and she'll make the save. The 10th shot by California, and O'Neill will kick it away. 21:58 left in the second half.
And that was only the second save for Slippery Rock, but that was the first shot Smida has been able to get on goal all game.
That ball goes out of bounds, so the Rock will throw it in once again. It'll be number 14, Dana Kaiser, tossing it in. Intercepted by California, and it works ahead to Tonya Fabian. Fabian will leave a pass trying to find Di Benedetto, but Marissa Anderson has something to say about that. And it'll just be a battle at midfield. Now Erin Phelps gives chase to this one. She has possession. Phelps sends it deep looking for Smida, but that's out of her reach. And it will go out of bounds. 21:15 remain in the second half, and we will see another substitution for California. And this time it will be I believe, number 16, and that is Carly Work checking in for California.
She's another very solid player for California, and they're going to need to get some offense here going with 20 minutes left to play.
California trying to hold a 1-0 lead on the Slippery Rock squad and advance to the Atlantic Regional Finals in the Division II soccer playoffs, where they will meet Westchester, who defeated Bloomsburg earlier today 2-0. It'll be a throw-in for California on the near sidelines. Elizabeth Johnston will throw it in. And this will go to the near corner, where Carly Work, oh, I'm sorry, that's Beth Smida, has it, but loses it. And Slippery Rock fights for it, but California comes with possession. Sent deep by Davidson off the head of a Slippery Rock player, and now Sarah DiBenedetto gives chase to it. Can't pick off the pass, though, so it'll be taken away by Slippery Rock. Number 3, Alyssa Barrett. Barrett sends it to California zone, which is where California is able to take possession. It'll be DiBenedetto working it to Fabian, but it's off of her, and it goes back to Slippery Rock. Comes up to number 8, Allison Henley. Henley sends it, goes off of another Slippery Rock player, and then the direction of the goal, which is where Paula Jackson will gain possession of it. And she will just scoop it up and kick it away for California, as we're down to 19 minutes remaining in the second half.
Paula Jackson has had to make 4 saves in this game. Normally, California does not give up a lot of shots, but she has been solid back there and really had a veteran presence in this game.
This ball kicked around at midfield, sent deep by Phelps, trying to find Smida, and the Slippery Rock defense is able to take it away and work it up to number 11, Shelby Ward. Ward sends it back to number 8, Henley. Henley over to Alyssa Barrett. Barrett fighting off Carly Work, and she'll able to do so and send it deep. And Shelby Ward passes it over to Pagani. Pagani's able to send one on goal, and Jackson has to come in and make a jumping save, but is able to do so. She'll just quickly move it ahead to number 12, Erin Phelps. Phelps trying to find Work, but it's off of her, and it goes over to Smida. Smida dribbles around the defender and is able to send it in the direction of the goal, where Slippery Rock's defense comes through. And there's another big collision at midfield between Erin Phelps and number 21. That is Marissa Anderson, and now Anderson very slow to get up. But play continues.
That's the second time that we've seen that, where both players are just looking up at the ball and they don't see each other. And they're lucky that nobody came out with an injury from that.
California's Sarah DiBenedetto is able to come away with possession. DiBenedetto's going to send it toward the goal. Blocked away by by Slippery Rock. And it comes over, but intercepted by DiBenedetto. Over to Darya Davidson. Davidson sends it over to Phelps. Anderson is in that area for Slippery Rock, and she's able to send it back to Isabel Scott, who will just move it back to midfield, where California will take possession. Coming across the midfield, trying to put off a shot is Phelps, but it comes over to DiBenedetto. She'll dribble around the defender. Now she's got a little bit of space and trying to find Smida on a redirect, and it ends up getting to the goal, but saved by Dana O'Neill, and she'll just roll it forward with 16:55 left in the second half.
O'Neill has made several saves in this half to keep Slippery Rock within 1, and that's what they're going to need in order to come back in this game.
Now it is California deflecting it away. It's Elizabeth Johnston over to Darya Davidson. Davidson's able to work it forward, trying to find Smida on a deep pass. That's Slippery Rock taking away possession. Comes over to the near side. It is Dana Kaiser. Kaiser working it to Alyssa Barrett. Barrett to Shelby Ward, and this is going to go out of bounds off of Slippery Rock, so Elizabeth Johnston will toss it in, or throw it in, I'm sorry. Johnston throwing it down the near sidelines, where it is Headed away by Kaiser, but taken back by California to Smida. Trying to find Fabian, but she just turned the wrong way. And Kaiser, or Slippery Rock, will send it back to the midfielders. That is where Work is applying pressure. But Alyssa Barrett is able to take it away. Send it deep where Kayla Franco is able to forward it to Di Benedetto. And she'll just send it to the far sidelines at midfield, where Aaron Phelps applies a lot of pressure to number 21, Marissa Anderson. This ball will come deep, and Smida works around the Slippery Rock defender, passes it over to Di Benedetto. Di Benedetto passes it to Fabian, has it and lost it, and Di Benedetto already going one way and the pass goes the other, so Slippery Rock will get a free pass out of their own zone. It's Shelby Ward. Shelby Ward works around Johnson. Now she cuts back to the middle of the field. Ward, now that's intercepted nicely by Clamasco and works it back to midfield, where it's sent deep. Johnston is able to deflect it back to midfield. That's right off the body of Carly Work, and that's able to send it back to the Slippery Rock zone, where 23, Alyssa Barrett, takes possession. Intercepted nicely by California, and they'll just send it out of bounds. And it'll be a Slippery Rock throw in here. 14:35 left to go in this second half, and the Slippery Rock offensive pressure is starting to heat up a little bit, Allison.
They are, but California's doing a good job of just not allowing them the middle of the field. They've been patient. They aren't forcing passes. They're going to take their chances whenever they get them, but they have 14:20 left in this match in order to until they advance.
Carly Work is able to move it deep into Slippery Rock territory, looking for Smida. Smida giving chase. She'll send a shot on goal, and a sliding save by Dana O'Neill to keep that one from going in and keep it a one-goal game. And O'Neill going to kick this one away for Slippery Rock, down under 14 minutes now in this game.
Great effort by Smida just to be able to get that shot off. She had about 3 Slippery Rock defenders on her, and she was able to still get the ball to the net.
Di Benedetto is able to force the issue and keep the ball in California's possession. Now Shelby Ward is able to gain possession, and Ward passes it up to Pagani. Pagani's driven into the corner, where number 4, Kelsey Fisher, does a nice job of kicking it out of bounds and allowing the inbounds play by Slippery Rock. And this is just going to be a throw-in, as we are now under 13:20 left to go in this second half of action.
Right now, California is content to sit on this lead, but not allow Slippery Rock any chances in the middle. They're trying to keep them wide towards the out-of-bounds lines, but they also need to be careful not to take any fouls or cards, because then they would be suspended for the next game.
We do see a card, or something's going on. I'm not sure exactly what the issue is. It's going to be a free kick here for Slippery Rock. Number 25, Emer Flatley, will be taking the kick from the near side of the field. And this is a prime opportunity for the Rock to try and tie this game. It will be a very interesting little sequence of events here. Here's a shot on the way, and it just goes wide of Paula Jackson and out of bounds, or to the right side of the net, excuse me. So Slippery Rock, or California I should say, will get the, actually it'll be a corner kick, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like Slippery Rock was just trying to set up Allison Henley, who was going towards the net, but it just went right by her and she wasn't able to get the tip shot onto the net.
Corner kick on the way. It goes to the far side, and it will be a goal for Slippery Rock. A big-time conversion there on the corner kick. I believe it was number 10, Rachel Knapp, who was able to put it in the net for Slippery Rock. And just like that, we are all tied at 1. 11:54 remains in this second half.
Paula Jackson was not happy after that goal went in. One of the Slippery Rock players was just able to head it into the net after they just kicked it from the corner kick over to the other side of the net. That would be a tough save for her to make. However, she is not happy that she let that goal in.
We'll take a look here. It was actually number 23, and that was Alyssa Barrett who was able to put it home for the Rock. And we have a playoff matchup of all playoff matchups right now. 1-1, 11:54 left in the second half.
And Carly Wark just was taken out of the game.
And not sure what's going on there, if it was just a substitution or if Wark got a little banged up on that play. Regardless, it goes out of bounds on the far sidelines, and Isabel Scott will throw it in. Scott will throw it in, but it's intercepted by California, and it's sent trying to find Tonya Fabian, but moved away by Slippery Rock, and they'll send it to the midfielders, where California sends it back, and it's Smida there on the far sidelines. Works around Isabel Scott. Now she's got a little bit of room to work with, trying to find Fabian once again, but that will not happen, and it just comes back to midfield, where Darya Davidson works it over to Sarah DiBenedetto. DiBenedetto works to Fabian. Fabian's got a little bit of space. That deflects off, and it comes back to number 21, Chelsea Norbitz. Norbitz over to Fabian. Fabian to DiBenedetto. She's going to put a shot on the way, and that's going to be stopped by Dana O'Neill. And California answers with a little offensive pressure of their own, but Dana O'Neill stands tall.
Yeah, Dana O'Neill has done great in this game, making the saves whenever she's had to. And Sarah DiBenedetto has done a good job, whether it be dishing the ball off to other players or showing off her own footwork there in that last sequence.
Norbitz now for California. She's tripped up. No whistle blown. Play will continue. Down to 10:25 left in the second half. This pass off of the foot of Shelby Ward, and DiBenedetto will inbound or throw it in. The throw-in intended for Chelsea Norbitz, but it's stolen away by Slippery Rock, and it's Shelby Ward. Works around Elizabeth Johnston, but goes out of bounds. Johnston tosses it in. DiBenedetto tries to work around number 8. That was Allison Henley, and the whistle will be blown and a foul called.
This game has gotten very physical, and it seems like the officials are now trying to take back control of it. You see the push there from DiBenedetto, but there's a fine line between letting them play and keeping control of the match.
The free kick sent in the direction of Shelby Ward. However, it is Kayla Clamasco who is able to send it back to midfield, and DiBenedetto is going to keep it inbounds. Comes back to midfield. That is where Chelsea Norbitz has it. Norbitz has it and loses it to Henley, and the Rocks send it deep, but it goes out of bounds, and Johnston will toss it in. 9:15 left to go in the second half. Headed away by DiBenedetto, and it's sent into the California zone, where Danielle Turner has it. Turner has it, and she's going with Pagani. Turner passes it in, and a nice job there by the California defender to turn the Rock offensive player around and not allow the scoring opportunity, but this one's going to come back in the California zone, where Paula Jackson will pick this one up, slow things down, and get a booming kick away to midfield.
Slippery Rock has to be happy with now how they've played defense. Bethany Smida has not gotten very many offensive opportunities. Neither has any of the other really California players since that last goal.
Ball goes out of bounds. Slippery Rock will throw it in, and it will be Isabel Scott. She'll toss it in. It will be intercepted by California, but taken right back by Slippery Rock, and will go to the far side of the pitch. And it's a battle for possession. And now it is taken by California. It is number 21. That is Norbitz. Norbitz is trying to pass it, and the pass intended for DiBenedetto is intercepted. It's taken at midfield by Darya Davidson. This pass now goes over to DiBenedetto. DiBenedetto weaves her way around the defender, maintains possession. Now she'll fire a shot on the way for O'Neill, and O'Neill has the better save, and she'll send it away. 7:35 left in the second half. Pass intended for Turner. That misses, and Johnston has possession. Johnston over to Davidson. Davidson's going to send it deep, trying to find number 20, Beth Smida. Goes out of bounds off of Slippery Rock, and California will inbound.
In the game here on Friday, Slippery Rock scored 2 goals going this direction against West Virginia Wesleyan. So they're doing the same thing again here today.
And now California, once again, they have possession. And it's taken by Aaron Phelps on the far side. Phelps leaves it for Smida. It's taken by California, though. And California gets it deep, but it's cleared by Slippery Rock, but only to midfield. As Bethany Smida has it once again. Tries to find Norbitz on the far side. Norbitz passes it to Smida. Smida sends a shot on the way, and that is high and wide. And O'Neal will kick it away. 6:30 left to go in the second half.
Bethany Smida has been coming on here as the game has gone on in the past few minutes. She's been able to get more offensive pressure than she has the entire game.
Sent to midfield by Dana O'Neal, where it is taken by Daniel Turner. Daniel Turner. And it is taken by Slippery Rock. It goes out of bounds, so Elizabeth Johnston will throw it in. And Johnston sends it down the near sidelines. It's moved forward by Di Benedetto, but it goes out of bounds. So the Rock will inbound now. And it is Dana Kaiser.
The shots are now 16-6 in favor of the Vulcans.
Shots may favor the Vulcans, but we are tied still here. 5:30 left to go in this game. Aaron Phelps tries to get it deep, but it goes out of bounds once again. And it'll be thrown in by Kaiser. Kaiser has a run up, then she decides not to do that, and she'll rethink her decision and now send it for Henley. Henley off a couple of heads, and it goes to Elizabeth Johnston, who sends it forward and sent right back by Slippery Rock. And Danielle Turner trying to work around Davidson is able to get a pass off. That is right to the waiting California defenders, and Darya Davidson over to the far side for Chelsea Norbitz. Norbitz has possession, and then it goes out of bounds off of Slippery Rock, so California will toss it in. Kristen Orrit hurrying over there to get the throw in. 4:40 left to go in this ball game. Over to Aaron Phelps, back to Kristen Orrit. Orrit sends it deep looking for Chelsea Norbitz. This one goes high in the air and into the corner, where it is sent back to the middle of the zone by Slippery Rock. California has possession, and it goes off of Slippery Rock, and California quickly tosses it in over to Beth Smida. Smida's driven off the ball nicely by Slippery Rock, and this one will come back to midfield, where Pagani is able to gain possession, and she'll send it deep, where it is taken by California. And the Vulcans move it forward, looking for Smida once again. Smida has possession, turns, still has possession. She'll send it to the far side, looking for Fabian, but it's intercepted once again by Slippery Rock. Back to midfield, where Sarah Di Benedetto gains possession, and it'll go to the far side for Kristen Orrit. But that's taken away by Slippery Rock, and they'll send it back to midfield, where the defense will take it for California.
Slippery Rock's defense has done a great job of taking away California's time and space, and that is a big reason why the score is tied up at 1-1.
California, their offense has come alive in the past few minutes, looking for that game-winning goal. Has not found it yet, however. It's in the corner. Into the far corner, where it is driven away by Slippery Rock, and it goes out of bounds. And we're going to see a corner kick here, I believe. Only the second corner kick for California, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, there have not been very many corner kicks in this game. Slippery Rock scored off of their last corner kick. So with only 2:45 left in this game, California's going to look to take advantage of this one.
It'll be Darya Davidson with the corner kick. It is away, and it's going to be sent in the direction, and a diving stop by Dana O'Neal to keep this score tied. 2:30 left in the ballgame, as Aaron Phelps was in the vicinity and she was looming, but Dana O'Neal not phased.
Smart play by O'Neal not to just let the ball roll away, but to take initiative, get it, and settle it down for Slippery Rock.
Now to Danielle Turner. Turner moving it forward, trying to find Shelby Ward. However, that's intercepted by California. And Tonya Fabian has it at midfield. She'll leave it for Aaron Phelps. Phelps to the far side. For Kristen Orrit, she'll work it ahead to Chelsea Norbitz. Chelsea Norbitz leaves it, and Tonya Fabian is able to come out and grab possession of it and then send it out of bounds. And it will be taken by Slippery Rock, I think. Yes.
Yes.
Isabel Scott inbounds it. But Tonya Fabian is able to gain possession, and it goes to Kristen Orrit. It'll once again go out of bounds, and Slippery Rock will get the throw. And once again, 1:25 left to go in the second half of action between the Rock of Slippery Rock and the California Vulcans in the second round of the Division II National Championship. California Slippery Rock tied 1-1. California sends it forward. And it's Tonya Fabian trying to corral this one. Taken away by Slippery Rock. They'll forward it to midfield.
Last minute of regulation.
It is Johnston trying to gain it, but Danielle Turner has more possession, and then it's sent deep into Slippery Rock territory where Bethany Smida has it. Smida tries to turn the corner, but it's intercepted by Slippery Rock, and they'll clear it back to the middle of the pitch. Goes out of bounds off of California, so Slippery Rock will get the throw in. 35 seconds remain.
Smida had a lot of speed there, but she was just not able to beat the two Slippery Rock defenders.
Now, Slippery Rock can't get out of their own zone. This one popped into the air. California gains possession. It's worked back to the midfielders, Darya Davidson. Over to the far side, that's Kristen Orrit. She loses possession, and it'll come back to the midfield of California.
10, 9,
Down to 10 seconds.
8,
it comes over to Erin
7,
Phelps.
6,
Phelps
5,
tries to work it in for Smida.
3,
3 seconds
2,
remain. Slippery Rock
1.
has possession. They'll just clear it. And that will do it for the second half of action. And when 2 periods aren't enough, it's time that we go to overtime. With the score remaining 1-1. And we will take a quick break here. We'll be right back with the overtime period of Division II soccer right here on CUTV.
Does peace really have a chance within our lifetime? At Rotary, we believe it does. We've created programs at universities around the world dedicated solely to teaching peace to a new generation. There's a new symbol for peace. Rotary.
You are watching CUTV, California University Television.
Welcome back for the start of overtime between the California Vulcans and the Rock of Slippery Rock in the second round of the NCAA Division II National Championship. As we see the only two goals scored, the first one by Kayla Franco in the first half, and then in the second half off of a corner kick, it was Alyssa Barrett knocking it home and knotting the game at 1 late in the second half. And now, in overtime, we start with a 10-minute period. We have another 10-minute period. Then if nothing is decided after that, we'll go to some penalty kicks and decide things then.
Yeah, California's last game against Westchester went to penalty kicks. They wound up losing, and the winner of this game will take on Westchester at Westchester for the Atlantic Regional Final.
Underway here in the first overtime session. It's in the far side. It's number 11, Shelby Ward. Goes out of bounds. California will throw it in. Goes to the far side once again where Marissa Anderson has it. Anderson has it and loses it to California. And it'll be worked back. Sent deep looking for Sarah DiBenedetto. And it's just sent to the corner where Danielle Turner, takes possession.
Yeah, and this field has to be getting slick. It has been raining pretty much the entire game and is also getting much colder, so that could have an effect on the players as this game wears on.
Turner is able to lose it, and California has it, then loses it. So Turner regains possession at midfield. Turner works around Darya Davidson, and a nice job by Elizabeth Johnston to work it away from her, and now it works into the corner where California gains possession, and that's Johnston working it over to Di Benedetto. The rain's picking up here at Rodman Park, the soccer complex at Adamson Stadium, and it's sent into the slippery rock zone where number 3 Isabel Scott has it. Scott has it and loses it to California, and number 21 Chelsea Norbitz gains possession. This goes out of bounds, where the throw-in will be by the Vulcans. 8:15 left in this first overtime session.
So far, neither team has gotten any offensive chances, which has been pretty much the entire game. There have been a few, but both teams have played very solid defense.
Smita had a chance there, but had the ball lose her foot. And this shot on the way and just wide as the Vulcans almost had the game-winning goal there. And it just trickles wide. Dana O'Neill comes up big. Also has a little bit of luck on her side.
Yeah, that was a great save by O'Neill. She was able to stretch out, and it just goes off of her fingertips. She's able to deflect the ball wide and away from any California players.
Now California has possession once again. It comes to midfield where Erin Phelps has it. Phelps sends it deep looking for Smita. It's popped in the air by Slippery Rock, and it'll come over for Kristen Orritt. Orritt places it off her body and leaves it for Erin Phelps. Phelps passes it over to Darya Davidson. Davidson sends it toward the net, but that's blocked by Slippery Rock, and they'll just clear it back to midfield where Elizabeth Johnston will take possession. Johnston passes it back to Kayla Clamasco. And Clamasco works it to Erin Phelps. Phelps passes it to the far side to Orritt, and Orritt works it ahead to Norbitz. Chelsea Norbitz working around Isabel Scott. She'll send it back to the middle of the field looking for Di Benedetto. It's popped in the air as Fabian tried to gain possession, but it's cleared back to midfield by the Rock. Now over for Di Benedetto. She'll be able to corral it before it goes out of bounds, but she's got to get it out of the corner, and she does. And Norbitz tried to gain possession. Slippery Rock is able to clear it once again as Norbitz floating right around the net there, trying to punch that one home. Now Danielle Turner of Slippery Rock trying to work her way around Di Benedetto, and does. Now has to work around Johnston. She just leaves it for Henley, which is where Tonya Fabian gains possession. California sends it deep. This one will go out of bounds, and it will go off of California's Tonya Fabian, so it'll be, no, it will be against, it'll go out of bounds against Slippery Rock, so it'll be California ball. Referee originally said Slippery Rock, but then changed his mind and said it's California possession, as Sam Regney is going to check back in for Tonya Fabian.
California has done a good job in this overtime period of not allowing Slippery Rock to get very many chances. I think they've only passed midfield 1 or 2 times so far, so they're getting their offensive chances. They just need to cash in.
5:30 left to go in the first overtime session. Inbounded by Johnston, and looking to find Smita, but it's taken by Erin Phelps, and this one is going to go wide right and out of bounds. So Dana O'Neill will get another free kick here. 5:15 left to go in this first overtime session. And the shots are 19 for California and 6 for Slippery Rock.
Dana O'Neill has done a great job between the second half and early on in this overtime period of not allowing California to get any more goals.
Ball once again in Slippery Rock territory, and it is 21 Marissa Anderson fighting off a California defender and sending it back, but that's intercepted by California, and Bethany Smita gives chase for this shot on goal, and another save by Dana O'Neill, who has come up big in this overtime session for Slippery Rock, and she will kick it away once again.
She really has. Bethany Smita, though, with a great shot. She's able to fight off the defender, and I don't know how she got that shot on net, and it was a good shot. It almost snuck inside the post, but Dana O'Neill was right there to get it.
Now Slippery Rock. They're going to cross midfield, and it will be Henley. Henley passing it to the far side for Shelby Ward. Ward had it and lost it, and it'll go out of bounds and it will stay with Slippery Rock as they will get the throw in with 4 minutes left in the first overtime session. It'll be thrown in by number 16. That is Ashley Paganti. And it'll be taken by Shelby Ward. Blocked away by California, but Slippery Rock will retain possession. Shot on the way, and it will be headed by Slippery Rock, and that is the game. That is the game as Slippery Rock, number 8. That is Allison Henley.
It's coming back. They waved off the goal. It was offsides on Slippery Rock. And Allison Henley is not happy at all about that call. A big break for California there, as they say, in this game.
As you see here on the replay, it was cleared into the zone.
She was definitely offside. She's standing at the far corner. Both California defensemen are way out in front of her. That was not even close.
That was a good call there by the referees. And it will be going out of bounds now. Play will continue down to 3 minutes left in this first overtime session as number 14, Dana Kaiser, will throw it in. And Slippery Rock had the best chance of this overtime period and had it waved off.
Definitely, that was a big break for California. And Slippery Rock has momentum right now. California needs to get it back.
2:45 left in the first overtime session. And it will be Paganti going to inbound it, and then we'll see a whistle, and they're going to say she needs to move back a little bit. Now Paganti will inbound. Trying to find Turner, but Johnston is able to work it away from her. And Norbitz sends it to the far side of the field where Shelby Ward has it. Shelby Ward trying to work around Kristen Orrit. And it will go out of bounds off of California, so Slippery Rock will throw it in. And it will be Isabel Scott throwing it in. Scott throws it in, trying to find Ward. That's a bit too far for her. And Kayla Klamaska will just retreat, settle this one down, and give it over to Paula Jackson, which we'll see a substitution here for California. And this will be I believe this is number 5, Kelsey Fisher, coming in for California. I'm sorry, that is number 5, Kayla Franco. Franco is able to work it ahead to number 21, Chelsea Norbitz. This will go out of bounds off of California, though, and Slippery Rock throws it in. Minute 30 left to go in this first overtime session. And on the far side, Slippery Rock passes over to Paganti. Now Slippery Rock works around California's defense. It'll be number 8, Henley. Works it ahead back to midfield, where California is able to take it. And it will be Franco. Franco has it, and now California's got a breakout session. It'll be Chelsea Norbitz. Drop pass over to the far side to Dee Benedetto.
1 minute remaining in the first overtime.
Dee Benedetto has it, it's blocked, and it comes back to Franco. Franco dekes around a Slippery Rock defender. Now loses possession to number 9, Daniel Turner. California comes in, though. Elizabeth Johnston blocks it and keeps California with the possession. 40 seconds remain in the first overtime session. It goes to Regni. Kayla Franco. Franco passes it ahead to Norbitz and tried to do a little drop pass there, but nobody home. Franco now passes it back to Darya Davidson. And Franco has it again. Over to Norbitz. Norbitz has a little bit of space. She'll send a pass in the way, but that's blocked. And this will come over to the corner where Sam Regni has it. Regni puts a shot on goal. And a whistle, and it'll go out of bounds against the California Vulcans. And Dana O'Neill will kick it. 3 seconds remain. And 1 overtime session will not be enough for this game. So we'll send it to a quick break. It is 1-1 at the end of 1 overtime. We'll be back for overtime number 2 here on CUTV. Welcome back for overtime number 2 between the Vulcans of California and the Rock of Slippery Rock in the second round of NCAA Division II playoffs. The Vulcans had a couple of chances early in that first overtime session, Allison, And then Slippery Rock had a prime opportunity in the second half, and they thought they had it won, but then offsides was called, and play continued.
They did really, at the first half of the overtime, California did a good job of getting chances. They didn't have any great chances, and then all of a sudden Slippery Rock turned it on and had a great chance. They actually got a ball past Paula Jackson, but it was offsides. The goal was waved off, and now we're in our second overtime.
Slippery Rock has possession for the start of the second overtime period, as the sides of which teams are going have been switched. And it's in the Slippery Rock zone. It goes out of bounds off of Slippery Rock, so it'll be California possession. And tossing it in will be number 11, Sam Regney.
And the rain has started to pick up here even more so. It has been raining pretty much the entire game.
But an encouraging sign for California. Karina Hunigoski, who left earlier in this game after a head-on-head collision, is back in the game as this shot goes high over the head of Dana O'Neill, and she will get a free kick here. 9:18 left in this second overtime session. O'Neill has made 9 saves on 21 shots today, as this one comes over the head of one Slippery Rock player, and it'll be taken on the far side by Shelby Ward. She'll pass it to Henley. Henley moves it ahead. Slippery Rock has a chance here. It is Isabel Scott. Isabel Scott sends one on net, trying to connect with Danielle Turner, and that one goes wide. So Paula Jackson will kick this one away. 8:38 left to go in the second half.
Paula Jackson and Dana O'Neill have both played very well in this game. That's why the score is 1-1. And I think any goalkeeper realizes whenever they come in here, they're going to have to play tough in order to give their team a chance to win.
This pass sent ahead of Karina Hunigoski, so it'll be inbounded, thrown in by Slippery Rock. Number 3 to Isabel Scott. This ball goes out of bounds, and if you can see on the screen, there's a lot of rain on our cameras. We apologize for that, as the rain is literally coming directly into the lens of our camera, and we'll try and get that cleaned up for you during the break if there is one. But just stay tuned with us, and we'll get you playoff action continuing here, as number 10, that is Sarah DiBenedetto, is able to corral it and work down the near side. That one is slid away by number 8, Allison Henley. And Henley is down, as I think she got a shoe in a face as she tried to slide and make that out of bounds play.
Yeah, she did. It looked like Sarah DiBenedetto, was just trying to keep the ball in play. She got a cleat to the face, it looked like, but she's going to stay in the game.
As now she's trying to walk it off. The referee checks on her to make sure it's okay. Now she's going to point. Now it's going to be that Henley is going to have to come out, as there's apparently blood, and the referees are going to make her come out.
And that's a big blow for Slippery Rock. She's one of their best players. She's been in the game. She's played the entire game, and now she's going to have to come out for at least one possession.
And the Slippery Rock trainers will attest to her. And I think Henley's trying to contest that she doesn't need to come out, but the referees say otherwise. And that's been the case in most sports nowadays, that if you have blood, especially in the college level, you've got to come out. Even though you may seem fine, if you're bleeding, you get to step out. Now this attempt is going to go into the near corner, which is going to go out of bounds against California. Isabel Scott will throw this one in. Scott takes her time. Now she tosses it in to DiBenedetto. This one will go out of bounds off of Slippery Rock's number 8, as Henley's back in. And it'll be taken by Hunigoski in the near side. Intercepted by Turner, and it works back to Scott. And it'll go out of bounds, and California will get another throw in. 6:45 left to go in this second half, or second overtime. This pass coming in the direction of I believe that was Regney, taken by Smida. Now Regney has it. That shot is deflected and blocked, and it comes back to Darya Davidson, and a nice save by Dana O'Neill, as there were a couple of chances there for California. But Dana O'Neill stands tall and makes the save.
Great job by O'Neill and the Slippery Rock defenders. They were able to stay strong, not start running around, block a couple shots, and would not allow the Vulcans to get more than one shot on goal.
Ball goes out of bounds off of Slippery Rock, so California's Elizabeth Johnson will throw it in. Now this one just popped up at midfield and sent back to the California zone, where Sarah D. Benedetto has it, and she'll leave it for Kristen Orritt. Orritt dumps it in, and it goes off of the head of Alyssa Barrett, so Orritt will toss it in, and she sends it to D. Benedetto. D. Benedetto sends it into the far corner, looking for Regney, but it's stolen by Marissa Anderson. Anderson pops this one up over to the near side for Kristen Orritt, and Orritt uses the body of Danielle Turner to get it to D. Benedetto. D. Benedetto evades one Slippery Rock defender and leaves it for Darya Davidson. Davidson tries to find Karina Honigoski, but it's popped up. D. Benedetto keeps it alive for California. Karina Honigoski steals it away, and then it's lost to Danielle Turner, where it comes back to midfield to Darya Davidson. 5:10 left to go in the second overtime session in a 1-1 game between the Rock of Slippery Rock and the Vulcans of California.
This game has been very physical throughout both first two halves and now into the second overtime, but the officials are really letting them play, so it's going to continue to be physical.
As we'll see a substitution here for California, I do believe. As now there's confusion as whether she's going to come in now or not, and it looks like that answer is no, so the play will resume, and it'll be a toss in over to Kayla Clamasco. Clamasco passes it to Sarah D. Benedetto. Over to the far side now. This pass is going to get up, and it's a one-touch pass, and coming up with it is Sam Regney for Karina Honigoski. And D. Benedetto sends it deep for Smida. Intercepted by Slippery Rock. Now a shot on goal by the Vulcans, and it goes wide left. And Dana O'Neill will get a free kick, and now we'll see the substitution come in for California, as I believe this is going to be Tonya Fabian. No, it's going to be 21. That is Chelsea Norbert's coming back in for California, checking in for Karina Honigoski.
Yeah, and this second overtime was played out much like the first, where California's had a lot of offensive pressure. We'll have to see if that continues.
Play comes to the near side, and it's going to go out of bounds as Turner cannot catch up with that. And it will be a throw-in by Kristen Orritt. Orritt sends it in for Norberts, and Smida comes up with it. Smida dribbles around one defender, and now she's going to be tripped up. No whistle called. And it's just going to come deep. And now I do believe there's going to be a whistle called.
Yeah, the Slippery Rock defender tried to make the slide tackle on Bethany Smida, so she couldn't get a clean shot on goal, but that is going to be a foul. And this is a big chance for California.
And it will be number 5, Kayla Franco, taking this kick. As now the Slippery Rock wall of defenders is going to take their position. 2:54 left to go in the second overtime period. Here comes the kick from Franco. It is away, and it just goes wide right. Franco had the distance and almost the accuracy, but play will resume as that almost had the game winner written all over it.
Franco has played very well all game. She's been all over the field creating a lot of chances, and she almost created the game-winning goal there.
Now this one fought for it midfield, and California will move it forward. 2:22 left to go in this second overtime period. Intercepted by Slippery Rock, and they'll send it over to the near side, where Danielle Turner will fight for it with number 17, Kristen Orritt. Orritt throws it in quickly to D. Benedetto. D. Benedetto works it around the Slippery Rock defender. Now sends it deep, looking for Smida and Norberts. Norberts has it and loses it to Turner. Now we'll see a whistle, and it's going to be a handball, I think, against Slippery Rock.
Yeah, that is the first handball we've seen all game, and another offensive opportunity here for California if they can take advantage of it.
And it'll be Franco with the opportunity again. 1:40 left to go. This kick sent to the far side. California looking to direct it in. Slippery Rock, though, does a nice job of just clearing it to the corner, and they'll send it deep but not out. And that's where Elizabeth Johnston has it. Johnston sends it back to the middle. where it's sent in the direction of O'Neal, and she will just make the save. 1:20 left to go now. 25 shots for California, 6 for the Rock, but 1 goal apiece. And this kick by O'Neal comes back to midfield, which is where it will be moved forward by Slippery Rock, but no further than the middle of the zone, which is where California just keeps it around.
Final minute of play.
This one sent fairly deep by Slippery Rock, and it can't be controlled by number 8, Allison Henley, but it's sent deep once again by the Rock and just taken away by California. Henley sends it deep, and Clamasco sends it back to the middle of the zone. 40 seconds remain now in the second overtime possession. Norbitz tries to clear it, can't do so, and it'll be sent deep by Barrett. Now into the zone. California's able to do a sliding kick over to the far side, where it just comes back, and Kiger, is able to send it back into California territory. 20 seconds remain. Di Benedetto works it deep, and it's going to be sent
9,
over
8,
to the
7,
far side, or the
6,
near sideline.
5,
Inbounded by Di Benedetto. 2 seconds remaining. Kick on the way by Darya Davidson is going to be no good, and 2 overtime periods are done, and there is still no clear winner. So that means we're going to get a penalty kick time, and penalty kicks will decide this game, much like how last week in the PSAC championship game, penalty kicks had to decide the matchup between Cal and Westchester.
Yeah, exactly. California's been here before, and they know they have a very solid goaltender in Paula Jackson. Here is the first goal for California. They were able to get it over Dana O'Neal to put the Vulcans up 1-0 early in the first half. And then late in the second half, Slippery Rock is able to get the tying goal past Paula Jackson to send this game to overtime. That is how we got here. So Paula Jackson has seen these goals before, and Slippery Rock almost won it in overtime here, but an offsides call brought it back. So we are now going to penalty kicks.
And it was number 8 on that one. That was Allison Henley, who had the opportunity, but she was offside. And the referees discussing things among themselves, getting themselves squared away for this penalty kick session, as the California Vulcans will also discuss things among themselves, as you see in the screen. The winner of this game again will take on the Westchester Rams, who defeated Bloomsburg earlier today. As you see there, Westchester, the 1 seed, defeating Bloomsburg, who earlier upset Kutztown. And then Slippery Rock, after defeating West Virginia Wesleyan, has this matchup. And the winner this game will, no matter what, travel to Westchester to take them on later this week.
Both goaltenders have played very well this game. Dana O'Neal she's made 10 saves and has kept Slippery Rock in this game whenever California's gotten a lot of chances. And Paula Jackson is always solid. She has led the team with 13 shutouts this year and has seen penalty kicks, especially last week.
Yeah, and Jackson, again, coming into today's game, she only allowed 6 goals. And O'Neal, likewise, only allowed 10. California, though, certainly the offensive pressure, especially in the overtime sessions, totaling 25 shots, as opposed to just 6 for Slippery Rock. At one point, the shots were just 8-4, and that was in the second half. And then California out shooting them 17-2 from that point.
Right, Slippery Rock, since the first half, has only had 2 shots on goal, one of those going in. But that means nothing now. It all comes down to penalty kicks.
And now the 2 teams are going to come out here to midfield. And I believe these are going to be the penalty kickers coming up to midfield, and I believe they're going to be discussing things amongst oneself, as the field is certainly wet, as the rain has picked up big time, which is also going to play a big factor into these penalty kicks, as it will be a little bit wet and certainly a little bit slippy.
It definitely will for both the people who are kicking the ball, the players and the goalkeepers. Because the goalkeepers, if you start going one way and have to change directions really quickly, you're probably going to slip and might not be able to. Where the kickers, you're going to have to make sure that whenever you're running up to the ball that you don't misstep.
And now the teams are going to disperse to one side, as you see Paula Jackson there. And a big turnout on hand here today for this second round matchup, not only from California fans, but from Slippery Rock fans too. As it looks like number 16 for Slippery Rock will take the first shot. That is Ashley Pagani. Pagani will set up in front of Paula Jackson for the first shot of today's game. Pagani gets set and Jackson is set. So we will get things underway here at Rodman Park. First shot on the way. And that is goal for Slippery Rock number 1. And they take the early lead in the penalty kicks 1-0 as she just rung that one right inside the top crossbar.
That was a great shot. There's nothing Jackson could have done about that. It was right over her hand, off the crossbar, down and in. Pagani puts the Rock up 1-0 in this shootout.
Next for California will be number 17, Kristen Orrit. Orrit, a midfielder for this California squad. Orrit, the run up, here's the kick. It's a low shot and a goal for Kristen Orrit. And the equalizer comes back, and it is 1-1.
You see the first shot going off the crossbar. Second shot, you just put it under the goaltender before she can get there. Nice shot by Kristen Orrit.
Now shooting for the Rock is number 9, Danielle Turner. One of the big offensive forces on this Slippery Rock squad. Said her name quite a few times during today's game. And Turner sets up. Gets ready. Turner's shot on the way, and that is kicked away by Paula Jackson. Makes the save, and the score remains 1-1.
Great save by Paula Jackson, and Danielle Turner cannot believe Jackson got a foot out on that. That just shows where Jackson definitely uses all of her height, is it just barely able to get a foot on that ball and kick it straight out to keep the score tied 1-1.
Next for California, it is number 6, Darya Davidson. Davidson, one of the younger members of this squad, a midfielder. Sets up again. Penalty kicks having to decide this Division II matchup between the Rock of Slippery Rock and the California Vulcans in the second round of the NCAA Division II playoffs. Davidson, here's the whistle, the run up. The kick, it is goal for California. Darya Davidson, not a lot of zip on that one, but just puts it in the right spot. And California has the now lead in penalty kicks 2-1.
And that's all that matters. She puts it right inside the post. It would be very difficult for O'Neill to get there. And you can see O'Neill kind of slips on that play. She tries to get across, but she loses her footing just a little bit. That's where the field comes into play right now.
It is wet, it is raining, and the rain has picked up. It has been picking up and going off quite a bit. Now kicking for Slippery Rock, number 11, Shelby Ward.
And Shelby Ward has been one of Slippery Rock's key players throughout the season.
Here's the whistle, here's the run up, the kick, and it is stopped by Paula Jackson as Shelby Ward just kind of puts her arms up in frustration as she thought she had it, and Paula Jackson just says no.
Paula Jackson has been great all year for the Vulcans. She does not want to lose this game. A nice save, very patient. Lets Ward make her move first, and then is just able to stop the ball.
Now kicking for California, number 22, Karina Honigoski. California leads 2-1 in penalty kicks right now. Here's Honigoski. Shot on the way, and that is a goal for California as Karina Honigoski just kind of fakes Dana O'Neill one way and then just kicks it the other way. And at that point, O'Neill really can't do anything.
Penalty kicks in soccer are a lot of guesswork, and that's the second shot that we've seen from California. You just put it right inside the post. It's difficult for a goalkeeper to guess that.
Now kicking for the Rock is number 8, Allison Henley, and they need to convert this if they want to stay alive in these penalty kicks. It all comes down to Allison Henley. If she misses this, the Vulcans have won. Here's the kick by Henley. She's going to scoop it, and she's going to score. Stays alive, the Slippery Rock do, as Henley kind of does that guesswork and is able to really just fake out Jackson. And now Sam Regney can end this for California.
She does. She goes one way and just is able to angle it back the other way, beat Jackson. There's nothing Jackson really could have done about that.
Sam Regney, the elder statesman, if you will, of this Vulcan squad, can end the game right here. Here's the whistle, the run-up. The kick, it is good! And the California Vulcans have defeated the Rock of Slippery Rock. Final score will be 2-1 in a shootout as California perseveres, and they will move on to face Westchester in the Atlantic Regional Finals.
The senior, Sam Regney, does not want her season to end yet, and she did a great job here. Is just able to bank it off the crossbar and in to send the Vulcans on to the face Westchester and hopefully farther into the playoffs.
The Vulcans and Westchester Rams will square off this week, I believe Tuesday. And the Vulcans all happy at midfield. And that will do it for our coverage of today's Division II second round Atlantic Regional game between the Vulcans and the Rock of Slippery Rock. Your final score 2-1. And for everyone here on the CUTV squad, braving the rain and wind and cold temperatures, for Allison Steinheiser, my name is Alex Kunkel. We will see you next time. Final score, Cal 2, Slippery Rock 1. Have a good evening, folks.